Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. I just want to have a quick look at the situation for the end of the week in terms of heat and thunder potential. There's been a bit of a downgrade again with this today. Yes, it was upgraded a bit in terms of heat and thunder potential today. It seemed getting downgraded a little bit. It's a real struggle to get this together, and the reason is that the plume that's coming out of Spain, the Spanish plume, the bubble of hot air, is just gliding to the east of us, really. It is just about getting into far south and southeast. It's a very close one thing. It's only for a few hours before it's all swept away by cooler air coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. So the models are struggling with how extensive the heat potential is, and the heat potential is important because that really, with the contrast with the cool air from the west, is what generates the risk of thunder. It's always better if you can get the heat established over 2 or 3 days, really build the heat up and then get the thundery breakdown. That's always how the classic thundery breakdowns come off. These sort of little plumes that just glide to the east of us don't really get in and sustain the heat over a couple of days. These ones are always more problematic to predict and to forecast. So have a look at what all the charts are showing in a moment. Now I've done the June month ahead update. The June month ahead forecast has been released today. You can find that on the month ahead forecast page. You can get to that via the buttons underneath the weather video here. Just scroll down the home page, you'll see a list of buttons showing different updates that we've got going on at gadservice.com at the moment. Click the one that says month ahead, June month ahead forecast, and you'll be able to go and see what's happening, or what may be happening for June. I say this forecast will focus primarily, or this video will focus primarily on the situation at the end of the week. Now, before I get on with that, just to mention the ads, there's links to articles on all of the pages at gadservice.com, so you can have a browse with a widget. You'll be able to pay for the website if you click through the articles. Thanks very much for doing that. So we're starting off on Thursday. This is the GFS chart for Thursday the 4th of June. We've got a ridge of high pressure building in, and this is the high pressure that's trying to bring this hot weather up from Spain and the Mediterranean. So the high pressure will build in on Thursday. Will give us a very nice day, I think. It'll be mostly dry with sunny spells, and temperatures could be up to around 23, 24 degrees. So pleasantly warm on Thursday. Now, as we move out beyond that, the high pressure very, very quickly pushes off towards the east, but got this area of low pressure developing out to the west. And of course, that's what's generating the chance of some thundery conditions. As the high pressure slips east, it pushes that hot air up from the south, and then the trough comes in from the west, brings the cool air back from the Atlantic, and the contrast between the two air masses get together and produce the big clouds and the chance of thunder. But it's just how extensive the hot air is. I don't think it's going to be that extensive, because as you go on through Friday, 6 o'clock in the evening, for example, already the heat is being pushed out of the country. So it only really gets in for a few hours before it's all swept away by cooler air coming back in from the west. And we end up by Saturday morning, this is Saturday the 6th of June, firmly back into this west northwesterly flow with the air coming in off the Atlantic. So the upper air temperatures show how this is going to play out. We see on Thursday 6th of June that we're still in relatively cool air then in terms of the upper air temperatures. By the time we go through 24 hours, it's 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, we are bringing warmer air up. Look how hot it is across much of France. We're going down into Spain and Portugal, some really hot air there. And that heat is just about getting in to the country. So the 10 Celsius isotherm is rising up through southern and southeastern parts of England, but by 6 o'clock in the evening, look at that, it's on its way out again. So it really doesn't last very long, just the briefest of sort of flirtations with this warmer air before the Atlantic very quickly pushes it out of the way. And by the time we go through to 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, the much cooler air is back in from the Atlantic once again. It really is a case of blink and you miss it on this update of the GFS model. So the Cape charts do show the risk of some thunder. Remember, the brighter the colours, the higher the chance of, excuse me, the higher the chance of convective potential on these charts. So for 6 o'clock in the morning, for instance, on Friday, we have got the green and yellow colours down in the south and southeast, and they just about cling on to the southeast, but the real convective potential you can see from this is across France, going in towards Belgium and Holland and through the Low Country. That's where we've got the vibrant red and orange colours, and things get very, very explosive across the continent as we go through the course of Friday. Just goes to show you how close we are to some really intense and violent thunderstorms. And just if you are a convective fan, it wouldn't take that much of an adjustment to bring us into that very high rate of convective potential. So don't entirely write this off. It's only Tuesday. This isn't happening until Friday. So don't entirely write this off, but we could get some big thunderstorms out of this. Just a very slight adjustment and a delay in that cooler air getting in through the course of Friday would enable some big storms to build up. You can see how much potential there is for storms sitting to the east of the country. The rainfall charts for Friday is 6 o'clock in the morning show we've got persistent area of rain across Northern Ireland and Western Scotland. That's the cold front that's bringing that colder air in off the Atlantic. Ahead of it, we've got the risk of some thunderstorms at 6 o'clock in the morning through the Channel. And then that cold front sort of sweeps eastwards very quickly through the course of Friday. These are thundery showers possibly grazing southeast England, East Anglia, so that could be where the greatest chance of the thunderstorms is through the course of Friday, down in the far southeast, and then you see things really blowing up there, but it's all in the North Sea and going across northern parts of France and into the Low Countries as well. So it really does blow up, but it blows up just to the east because that cold front sweeps all the warmth away before things can really get going. The surface temperatures indicate we're up to 20 or 21 degrees at midday on Friday. That perhaps rises to 24 or 25 in the extreme southeast, but notice the real heat down here is across France and Germany and the Low Countries, where temperatures could be up to 30 degrees, 31, 32, that's around 88 to 90 Fahrenheit. So this is very hot air, but it's very, very close to the British Isles. A real case of on a knife edge. The ECMWF is in agreement, really. We bring this southerly flow up across the country on Friday, so it looks good at midnight on Friday for some storms, but go through 24 hours to midnight Saturday, you can see that the heat is very quickly being swept away. I think this could be a little bit more progressive, though, with the heat and potentially with the thunder as well. So the ECMWF perhaps a little bit better than the GFS if you want the heat to generate the thunder. There we are with the upper air temperatures at midnight on Friday. The warmth is coming up from the south. And as we go through to midnight on Saturday, the warmth is being swept away, so it is swept away very quickly within 24 hours. But I think it gets further into the country, that warm air, during the course of Friday, and it probably lasts a little bit longer on the GFS. We are talking about just fractions here, just a few hours, but they could make all the difference for generating some big storms later on in the afternoon and the evening on Friday. And then finally with GEM, that's better for the heat and the thunder potential. Here we are at midnight on Friday. Again, we're in a southerly flow. There's a little thundery low developing somewhere around the Brest Peninsula. As we go through 24 hours, the cooler air is sweeping that heat away. So it is only a 24-hour wonder. But the heat does get further into the country and more intense than the other two miles. So the upper air temperatures for midnight on Friday shows that warmth down in the south and the southeast. And by midday Friday, look at the 10 Celsius isotherm across the whole of England and Wales. The 15 Celsius isotherm, which is proper hot air, is in the southeast, so it does push that hot air further into the country, the GEM, for Friday. That could lift temperatures up to 28 degrees around London, 83 Fahrenheit. And with the temperature pushing up that high, there will be a greater potential for thunder. It's all swept away very quickly, though, on Friday night and into Saturday morning. Here's the precipitation forecast from the GM. I don't think these are all that reliable, so can't be relied upon particularly, but there is the suggestion there for perhaps some very widespread thunderstorms for parts of Lincolnshire, East Anglia, South East England through the course of Friday afternoon, and maybe another cluster of storms coming up across England. So that's generally a wetter, hotter, and more thundery scenario from the GEM. For Friday and into Saturday. The GM is not as good, it's not as reliable as the other two models, but don't discount it. We are only talking about 200 or 300 miles worth of difference between their core of the heat being just to the east of us and getting into the country, and also 2 or 3 hours could make all the difference on Friday afternoon. So just to show you how close this could be, what a close run thing it could be in terms of getting some thunder on Friday afternoon. So if you like thunderstorms, if you like convective potential, don't rule it out. Keep checking back for more updates. If things look as though they're still happening, or could be happening over the next day or so, I'll start to update Stormwatch. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching.